What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and huge shout out to Ricky Gervais for being one of the last real ones, one of the last willing to call out Hollywood's ridiculously overinflated opinions of self, whether he's roasting them while hosting an awards event or he's roasting them for their completely hilariously out of touch videos telling us plebs that we can be better, that we can do better. Ricky Gervais is an icon, and we need a man like him willing to risk it all at a time like this where everything is over examined and dissected and hope in the hopes of being able to manufacture outrage or cancel somebody. And I know a little something about this, which is why I'm super glad that I have this amazing sponsor for this video, Vincero. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Vincero. Look, times have changed in terms of watches. They've become more about having a bold timepiece or making a statement. And Vincero offers some serious quality at an affordable price. Finding a watch that's stylish, bold, and built to last can cost a pretty penny. Vincero Watches is changing that. They believe you deserve to look good no matter what your budget. And look, this company, just look at these things.
Look at that, that's nice and shiny.
They have over 22,000 five-star reviews, and they've even added a line of sunglasses. I picked up these. They're basically exactly like what I have. I have a different brand, like a different brand that's super expensive that cost me a couple $100. So they're basically the exact same, and they're much more affordable. I've been looking for a brand partner to work with that can help my viewers up their game. And when you rock a Vincero watch, people are going to notice, and you're going to just feel cool. It helps you level up, and it's not going to break the bank to do so. Vincero also gave all of you an exclusive 15% off promo code quartering, no limit, so you can pick up a couple of watches, and their inventory does cycle over, so don't wait. Pick up, if you see something you like, pick it up today before it sells out. Support the channel and get yourself some cool watches. Thank you, Vincero, for sponsoring, and I look forward to seeing your pictures with your sweet new watches. Now, this is a little something I know about. And if you know what it's like too, if you use Twitter, if you do, by the way, please follow me at The Quartering. Although, as time passes and new alternatives like Parler are there, by the way, I do use Parler. I think more and more about just abandoning Twitter because, oh my God, it's just so toxic. Once I have a good feedback loop where I can ask you all, what's going on, what topics you want me to cover every day, I'm definitely out. It's just a net negative for me. The way people misrepresent me, and some of the feedback or the blowback is warranted, and that I can handle. It's when people take jokes out of context and they get like 25,000 likes over the weekend, and I got random people saying, "Hey, are you do you support the Mr. Hankety Clankety mustachioed guy? I saw this tweet." Anyway, Ricky Gervais has once again picked up his rhetorical flag in favor of free speech. The comedian called in for a talk radio interview this week to discuss the 19th anniversary of The Office, when the conversation pivoted to cultural changes that would make his creation nearly impossible today. Mr. Gervais lamented an environment which outrage mobs use their feelings as license to quash opposing points of view. Quote, "There's this new weird sort of fascism of people thinking they know what you can say and what you can't say, and it's a really weird thing," he told the London audience. The entertainer made similar comments in January after critics of his Golden Globe hosting performance labeled him right-wing. By the way, as if that's a bad thing. Look, I know that there are people of all political backgrounds that watch my videos, and I want it that way. I can't imagine wanting to close out anybody from watching your videos or buying your product, but it happens. The creators of many of the games you love, many board games, even to a bigger degree. Just insane people willing to alienate their customers for a few likes and retweets. This is where these people live, and it's because of Twitter culture. He goes on to say, if you're mildly left-wing on Twitter, you're suddenly Trotsky, right? He continues Saturday with the host of Kevin O'Sullivan's Breitbart reported, if you're mildly conservative, you're the bad guy from WW2. And if you're centrist, then you look at both arguments, you're a coward. That's so true. And it's something that many of us have all said multiple times before, but it just carries more weight when it's somebody in entertainment, when it's somebody who has way more to lose by trying to understand cancel culture and speak out against it. The reality is most people are decent people. If you spend too much time on Twitter, you start to lose faith in humanity. That's why I make sure I spend time at like my local restaurants and my local businesses, my local pubs. I don't go into the city where you get idiots, people that are more close to Twitter users. You know, you get into the suburbs and you realize that they're just regular people like you or I. Sure, maybe they voted a different way, but nobody really cares about that in the real world. He goes on to say, Mr. Gervais added that it was corrupt and wrong for left-wing activists to essentially deputize themselves on social media hate speech police. These people hid behind the shield of goodness. We're good. We're social justice warriors. We're doing this for the good, and what we say goes. And they don't realize how corrupt and wrong that is. It's just nonsense. It's mob rule. And of course, this article is only being picked up by conservative outlets. Although I guess I don't know who the Washington Times is. I don't know how they lean, but it looks to me from their articles probably more right-wing. I could be wrong about that. Obviously, Fox News. Why is it only conservatives that pick up the mantle for free speech? And I'm talking about in the media. You know, specifically in the media. Why? Why is it like that? We should all back free speech. We should all be willing to fight for our brothers and sisters' rights to say what they think or feel, because here in the United States, obviously, we have the First Amendment, but not every country is like that. In particular, where Ricky Gervais lives, when I grew up, when I was 18, 19, 20, I saw conservatives like as these Bible-thumping, you know, anti-spicy things, pro, you know, sanitized type things. And that's one of the primary reasons I voted the way I did when I was young. I was like, man, these people want to ban video games. They're all obsessed with the church and all this stuff. When did the left become that way? Now, modern day left media outlets are constantly demanding this person or that person be deplatformed, or this book or that book be removed from the shelves, or this warning or that warning be added to a classic movie because, heaven forbid, times change. It's 60 years later, and maybe something in this movie isn't considered okay anymore. So let's make sure we add a warning, because people can't possibly be expected to understand that times change. People change. What's acceptable in the 1920s is no longer acceptable anymore. Imagine not being able to separate that. But again, only for whatever reason, maybe you can let me know in the comment section down below, why is it only conservative outlets that seem to be pushing for this anymore? He goes on, this article says, more of the quote, the often controversial comedian and creator of the UK version of The Office appeared on talk radio, and the host asked Gervais if he thinks the beloved sitcom could be made today, to which he noted times have changed. There's a lot more to worry about when making comedy than there was 2 decades ago. And that's just a shame. That's why you see all these comedies nowadays. They're not funny. There's so few comedians willing out to take a risk anymore. Dave Chappelle's one of them. He added, the two catastrophic problems with the term hate speech is one, that what constitutes hate speech. Everyone disagrees. There's no consensus on what this is. Two, who decides? And that's the real rub, because obviously the people who think what they want to close down free speech because they're bad and are fascist. Wait, people who think they want to close down free speech because it's bad and they are fascists. It's a really weird, mixed up idea that these people hide behind the shield of goodness. Later in the interview, Gervais said that it's often hard to please everyone on both the left and the right online because there's no discourse to be had with people so entrenched in their respective points of view. That's why I try to go out of my way. I know it sounds kind of cringy. That's why I go out of my way to say, look, if you consider yourself a democratic socialist, I want you to watch my videos. If you can consider yourself far right conservative, I don't really know what the term would be for that. I still want you to watch my videos because discourse needs to happen. It needs to happen in the comment section. It needs to happen in videos. It needs to happen between people in the street, people at the pub. You can't just entrench yourself and reject all other ideas. He goes on to say, social media amplifies everything. If you're mildly left-wing on Twitter, you're suddenly Trotsky. If you're mildly conservative, and we talked about that. The former Golden Globes host explained that there are indeed caveats of free speech in which he agrees, such as libel laws. However, he notes he fears a world where people are told not to say certain things because someone might get offended. I'm going to leave with this quote. What's not in place and what should never be in place, you mustn't say something that someone somewhere might find offensive, because someone somewhere might find anything offensive. I've always said, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.